When you're scrolling through a sea of commercial refrigerators, the glossy photos and sleek glass doors can feel like a promise until you actually get the unit and it turns out to be more of a showroom piece than a workhorse. I've seen too many cafe owners spend a good chunk of their startup budget on a fridge that looks perfect online, only to discover that the shelves don't line up with their bottles, the temperature drifts when the door stays open a minute too long, or the unit gobbles electricity like a hungry fridge in a dorm. That hesitation is real, and it's why I wanted to dig into a specific model that's been getting a lot of buzz, the FreezLabs 30 Cu.ft white commercial glass door display refrigerator. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the space you'll be putting this thing in. At 30 cubic feet, the unit is roughly the size of a small upright freezer you'd see in a household kitchen, but it's built on a commercial steel chassis and wrapped in dual-layer glass. That means you'll need a dedicated floor space of about 4 feet wide by 5 feet deep, plus a little clearance for the door to swing open fully. For a busy coffee shop that wants to showcase bottled waters, craft sodas, or pre-made salads right at the point of sale, that footprint can become a real asset. The glass front lets customers see what you're offering without having to open the door, which cuts down on cold air loss and keeps the interior temperature more stable during peak hours. In a bar that wants to highlight premium mixers, the visual impact can even drive impulse purchases. People tend to grab what they can see. The LED lighting is positioned at the top of the interior, giving an even wash of light across each shelf. In my own visits to a downtown bakery that installed this model, the lighting made the colors of the pastries pop and the bottles look crisp, even under the harsh fluorescent lighting of the front counter. Because the LEDs are low heat, they don't add to the cooling load the way traditional incandescent bulbs can. That translates to a slightly lower energy draw, which is something you'll notice on the utility bill over months, not weeks. Temperature control is another place where the FreezLabs unit tries to earn trust. The digital thermostat is mounted on the front panel, and it's simple enough that you can set it with a quick tap. Most reviewers mention that it holds steady at the set point, and in a test run I did at a friend's juice bar, the unit stayed within 1 degree Fahrenheit of the 38°F target for a full 8-hour shift, even as the door opened a handful of times for quick grabs. The consistency matters when you're storing perishable items like fresh fruit cups or dairy-based smoothies. A wobble of a few degrees can be the difference between a product that's still fresh and one that starts to spoil before the end of the day. Now, who should actually consider buying this fridge? If you run a CAF, bakery, or small restaurant where visual merchandising is part of the sales strategy, the glass door and LED lighting are practical tools, not just aesthetic fluff. The unit's interior comes with adjustable metal shelves that can be repositioned to accommodate taller bottles, stacked cases of canned drinks, or shallow trays of pastries. That flexibility means you can reconfigure the space as your menu evolves. It's also a solid pick for a boutique grocery or specialty food store that wants to keep premium cheeses, charcuterie, or artisanal drinks on display while keeping them at safe temperatures. On the flip side, if you're a food truck operator or a micro-cafe with limited floor space, the 30 cubic foot footprint might be more than you need, and the weight, well over 300 pounds once filled, makes it a challenge to move without a dolly and a couple of strong hands. The unit also runs on a standard 115-volt line, which most commercial spaces have, but if you're in a location with older wiring you might need to upgrade the circuit to avoid tripping breakers during peak usage. For a home-based business that only needs to store a few cases of beverage, a countertop cooler would be a more cost-effective solution. Speaking of cost, the price point lands you in the mid-range of commercial display fridges. The value isn't just in the metal and glass, it's in the way the design reduces cold air loss. Because the door is glass with a double-layer construction, you get better insulation than many single-pane models. In a real-world scenario, a bar that keeps the door open for a minute to grab a bottle will lose less temperature than it would with a thinner glass door, meaning the compressor doesn't have to work as hard to bring things back to the set point. Over a year, that can add up to noticeable savings. However, there are a few practical drawbacks worth noting. The door hinges, while sturdy, have a slight give after many cycles of opening and closing.